Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at a Toucannon Dunsparce variant that I found in an online tournament recently. Now, I will say this, the original list that I found and obviously made changes to went 0-2 drop. So I've done a few changes, tidied up the list a little bit, and hopefully we won't get that record. So of course, as per usual, in the description below there's going to be usual links. There'll be the deck list, which is also available to come in the description below. There's the games that we'll play, and of course the outro and what I think of the deck. So I've been really experimenting with Toucannon, you know, as I'm sure everyone else has. I mean, it's been in Pull, it's been in Alakazam, it's been in Sora Lunatone, you know, there's so many ways you could play this dude. And well, today we are taking the draw power up to a whole new level. With, of course, the Toucannon having aerial draw, which just lets us draw a card for free, but also we're playing a 4-3 line of the Dunsparce. We should be perfectly acceptable, you know, we should be able to find whatever we need, I'll be brutally honest. But, of course, that's why we're playing just a high count of all our Pokemon. We are actually playing 24 Pokemon, which I think is the highest I've ever played on this channel, to be honest. But there's a lot when it comes to this archetype, and, you know, there's a lot of damage that can be done as well. Now, the original list chose to play Maximum Belt. I've decided to swap for Legacy Energy. I feel this is the more safer option for this deck, but that's just me. Now, we are playing a 1-1 Rellor Rabsca line. This is more for defense purposes. Obviously, this is the combination of Psyduck, in a way, and Shaman, in a way. It's kind of like a poor man's version of both, but obviously it does stop all damage and effects of attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to your bench Pokemon. The only thing it doesn't stop is, of course, Dusknoir. But if you're a Rabsca player, you already knew that. But obviously we do have a change in the Terra Pokemon that the original list did play. They chose to play Terrapagos. I prefer Cornerstones with these Toucannon decks, and that's just a personal preference. We also get to play a few special energy in the list that we're going to be playing today, so that's going to be something. I nearly did play Pikachu EXs instead, but there's quite a lot of Munkidora in the format, and that kind of defeats the purpose of Pikachu, so I valued Cornerstone a bit more. But that's just personal preference. Otherwise, we've got a thick line of the birds, we've got 2 fans. So, let's go to the deck list, and let's have a proper look. Welcome to the deck list. Like I said, this is a really interesting little archetype, because it has quite a few bit of legs when it comes to it. Now, of course, we aren't playing, you know, the Maximum Belt like I mentioned in the intro part, because me personally, I don't feel Maximum Belt is needed in this deck. That's just personal thought. I would rather play something that manipulates the prize race. And technically, it's an extra energy for Cornerstone to use. Because obviously, there's going to be some matchups where I might actually need the Cornerstone. And, you know, that sort of thing. You know, Festival League doesn't really have a great answer to Cornerstone right now. Fair enough, they can, you know, go Dipplin, Gladion, Max Belt, or Brave Bangle. You know, they can do that. But that would take a lot of resources. And obviously, you know, we're playing a basic fighting energy and we're playing Legacy. Plus, we have spiky energies to help with that as well. So, you know, we have a few different ways in which we can do stuff. So, of course, we have 4 Dunsparce, 3 Dudunsparce, 4 Pikipek, 2 Trumbeak, 4 Toucannon, 2 Fan Rotom, 2 Cornerstones, 1 Rellor, 1 Rabsca, and 1 Fez. And, of course, 4 Lillies, 2 Boss, and 2 Dawn as our supporters. Which I feel is a little light, but, like, the draw power of this deck is insane, so we should be fine. I wouldn't mind a Team Rocket's Petrol, is all I'll say. But anyway, 4 Buddy Poffin, 4 Poké Pad, 3 Rare Candy, 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Special Red Card, 1 Sacred Ash as an extra recovery card, 2 Brave Bangles, 3 Area Zeros, 4 Mist Energy, really good into Alakazam, 3 Spiky Energy, again, this just gives our Toucannons technically more damage output, 1 Basic Fighting Energy, and 1 Legacy Energy as our ace spec. Now, we don't play a way to search our special energies, and of course we don't play a way to recover the special energies, because there isn't one in format right now. That's kind of why I elected for a basic fighting in here. That's not only useful for the Cornerstone, but it can go on the Toucannon if it has to. You know, I always like playing, you know, I don't particularly like playing just special energy when it comes to decks, it's just personal preference. But I'll be honest with you, I think this archetype does have the legs, given, you know, we have the basic energy in here, which, fair enough, it's only 1. But, you know, you could play a 4th Spiky, but I don't think you need to, per se. I would rather keep the Quad Mist over Quad Spiky. So I elected to cut 1 for a fighting energy, just so we have an extra out to our Cornerstone. But obviously, if we go Cornerstone double spiky, the Applin that potentially does the play I just mentioned will knock itself out. So, you know, there is something to be had about that. But, you know, there's always something to really, like, think about when it comes to this archetype. Obviously, we have the fans for early pressure, we've got the Toucannons for damage output, we've got the Cornerstones, we've got the Legacy to manipulate the prize race, so we have a few different options when it comes to the matchups. Obviously, my only concern is the fact that, you know, we don't have a huge amount of recovery. Obviously, we have Sacred Ash, which is good for Pokemon recovery, but I wouldn't mind a second Night Stretcher in here. Other than that, really, there's not a huge amount when it comes to this list, like, I would want to change. And it's been quite fun, to say the least. So, let's get some games and see how we do. And welcome to our first game. Hopefully we can redeem ourselves with because I've been dropping down the ladder a little bit. I was testing one of Azul's decks, and I don't know how he did so well with it, because it bricked 2 out of 3 games. And the one game where I could actually do something, I got bodied by another deck that does exactly what the deck the deck he had built just does better. So, you know, if you're curious what deck it is, it's that I believe a Frostlass deck with the Freezing Shroud Frostlass. Yeah, I must admit I'm not a fan of his deck list. I've made a few changes to it, and I'm going to try and work on it over time. So you might even see that in the future on this channel. But I'm not a big fan of it, to say the least. Alright, well that's a pretty respectable start, I will say. Fan Rotom start, we've got a double Pikipek, we've got a Buddy Poffin, and it looks like it's a fan off. Hopefully this will go fantastic for us, pardon the pun. So let's start off by benching some Pikipeks. We will grab ourselves... We're probably not going to really need a Rellor, so I'm just going to grab 2 Dunsparce. Let's have a look at the deck. So we've got those there, we've got the Rellor. We don't have the Rabsca's there, that's fine then. I'm not sure why you're emoting, but sure. I have prized 2 Lillie's Determination, which is a bit concerning. We've got a Candy in Hands, that's fine. And we've prized the basic Fighting Energy, a Mist Energy, and a Spiky. So we're really limited on our resources here, which could be problematic. So I'll take a Pikipek, Trumbeak, sorry. We have prized 1 as well. Oh no, it's in hand, that's fine then. I did say that earlier, but Joe's clearly forgetful in his older age. I'll just take these. And with that, I will bench... Dunsparce? Yeah, because I can Poké Pad. I mean, we have 2 others, but I'm fine with this. I'm completely fine with this. Body Poffin. I'd laugh if this is a Toucannon face-off. It is. Okay. Well, that's not the worst thing in the world. Like I said, we do have the ability to, you know... Oh, it's the Solrock Lunatone version. Okay. That'll be interesting. Because they'll probably play Cornerstone as well, which is actually going to matter in this matchup. Because, well, Toucannon cannot harm a Cornerstone. Solrock can. So, you know... And he's also got a Noctowl engine in there, so he's got a few different pieces in there, I will say. But hopefully we can find ourselves a Stadium and an Energy to attack the Fan Rotom here. That'd be pretty nice to get the early prize lead. Because in this matchup, it's pretty much going to be down to who takes the first prize card and who doesn't put down a Cornerstone. But at some point, you're going to have to put down a Cornerstone because you're going to have to war your opponent. So, you know, there's a lot of things to consider in this matchup. But hopefully... they don't have a whole lot going on. So they've just grabbed a bunch of other Pokemon and they will pass. That is fine. There's a Dudunsparce. That is perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double Poké Pad. No, not you. I love you, fan, but not that much. I'm going to double the Dun. Then I'm going to see if I get an Energy plus a Stadium. Well, there's Spiky. So that's pretty good. There's Area 0. We can take the knockout with a Spiky Energy. Excellent. So I'll evolve to the Dun. Body Poffin. I'll grab 2 more Dun. And then again, I probably want another... I've already got a Dunsparce down, yeah. I'll take another Pikipek. Do we have one in hand? Yes, but I will fit one out the deck. So then Area 0, Spiky Energy. Do I want to play this Candy? I don't think so. I don't really need to. And then we will just Assault Landing and take out the Fan. I'm fine with that, because obviously the spiky energy technically could help us. There's one of our energies out the prize cards. Excellent. Obviously, we don't want to reveal that we have Cornerstone in the deck, because that might be something we need later. Obviously, they're probably playing Cornerstone themselves. They're going to evolve the active to a Trumbeak, interestingly. There's Fez, so that's a 2-prizer we can go for. So they've already made the first mistake, and that's putting down a 2-prizer. They could go for Fly, but obviously if they fail it, and, you know... Then again, though, it's damage from an attack, this is, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so he needs to actually land the Fly, which is quite funny, ironically. And he's just going to pass. Someone is whiffing massively, it seems. So let's evolve to a Toucannon. We'll Poké Pad for another Dudunsparce. It sucks I have to retreat the Spiky here, but to take another knockout, I kind of have to. So I'm going to attach Fighting, go into the Toucannon. We'll Aerial Draw. Okay, not really useful. I'll Dudunsparce, might as well. There's a Fez. Not particularly what I want to see right now. So we'll bench you, we'll evolve you to Toucannon. We will then Aerial Draw. And I think I'll leave it at that. So we'll go for a Feather Rondo. Take out the Trumbeak. Obviously, they are going to get another Fez draw here, but we're already 2 prizes up, and they've got a 2-prizer in play. So we can take advantage of that later. We have pretty much a full board of birds, so bring it on, Chief, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I've got another bird sitting in the wings, pun intended again. There's going to be a lot of puns in this video, I hope you realise that. But, you know, we're not, unlike our opponent, we're not on a wing and a prayer, but still, I'll stop for now, don't worry. If you're loving the dad jokes, leave it in the comments, because that will never change on this channel as far as I'm concerned. Aerial Draw. So you can respond to our Toucannon, but we can just respond to his, so I'm not really bothered. You know, the mistake he made is putting down a Fez. You don't want to put down a Fez unless you have to. Candy Toucannon, that's fine. We could even flex that, you know, we have that. We could just go Candy Toucannon if we want. Which I probably will anyway, just to, you know, have a little bit of extra consistency. He'll probably be wondering what sort of variant I'm playing, though. Because I've not made any, like, observation with, you know... I've not made it obvious what variant I'm playing, because this will throw people off. This fighting energy will throw people off. They'll think I'm playing the Cornerstone Sorrel Lunatone version, but I'm not. Although I do have Cornerstones in here, but that's besides the point. But obviously, he is going to take a knockout here, which I'm not particularly bothered about, because as long as I can keep up with the birds, I'm not too fussed. And there's Feather Rondo. And like I said, that's why we're playing Night Stretcher, because we can recover that basic fighting if we need to. So let's go into the bird, because the bird is the word, and we will draw for turn. Okay, well, like I said, I don't want to put Fez down, so I'm going to Dunsparce first. Dawn is pretty good to see, I'm not going to lie about that. That's actually really good. I might play the Dawn this turn. So let's go for a Poké Pad. We've got another Toucannon in this. So we can actually go Dunsparce, Dudunsparce, Toucannon, and then double Candy. I'm happy with that. So we'll play Dawn. We'll go Dunsparce to Dunsparce, Toucannon. So like I say, we haven't revealed the A-Spec neither. That's another thing you have to consider. So we'll go Rare Candy into Toucannon. Rare Candy again into Toucannon. We'll go Spiky to the active. It doesn't hugely matter. We'll Aerial Draw. That's another Dudun. Nice. We'll then Aerial Draw again. Red card. That's going to be useful for us later. They will have probably a red card themselves. I can thin the Bangle because that's not going to matter. And we will go Feather Rondo for the knockout. Nice. Because the Bangles don't matter here, which is kind of why I wanted to play a different A-Spec, because everyone and their mother is playing Toucannon, so, you know, even their grandmother's probably playing Toucannon. You know, this is a really good card for the format. It's a single prizer that can do really well into, you know, up trading and stuff. So he has got the energy. So I'll just take a swag of Dr. Pepper then. He's got the energy to respond, but that's not too much of a concern. If he has red card, it could get quite ugly, because we've already burned through 2 energy, and now 3 because of this spiky. So if he has red card, it could get ugly, which, here it is. Okay, that does get a bit ugly, but obviously we do have a draw 2 on board. But we do have a boss, which is good for us. We can boss that Fez, which is the most important thing. So that feels pretty good, and we can Buddy Poffin and shuffle the deck, so that's another thing we can do. They're going to take 20 because of the spiky, but spiky doesn't matter here. So we'll promote the Toucannon with the Bangle. Because again, it doesn't hugely matter. Well, there's missed energy off the top, so let's play the Buddy Poffin. We'll grab 2 Dunsparce. We'll be fine, yeah. We will need to find Sacred Ash, though, at some point, because we are getting a little bit close for comfort. There's Fez, that's fine. So we'll Aerial Draw again. Poké Pad's pretty good. I can get a Dudunsparce established. So then we can go attach the Toucannon, boss the Fez, and Featherondo 290. Take out the Fez. Now all we need to do is take out a Toucannon. He can't come back from this. I don't have a 2-prizer down, and the only 2-prizer I would want to put down is in my hand, which is Mr. Cornerstone. Well, is Ogerpon? I don't actually know. I never played the DLC with the Teal Masks and stuff. I think it's female. I don't know, but you know, that's just me being old and forgetful. About the only way you can come back into this is if he has legacy energy, which would be quite naughty, but at the same time, respectably, you know, that's what I would play. But at this point, he can't win, you know, he's so far behind, you know, your 4 prizes are down to 1, and I can safely bench Fez now to find more cards, so, you know, if you swing with Toucannon here, I have game because of Spiky in hand. There's a Dawn. Fez, Trumbeak, and a Toucannon. So hold on, are you playing double Fez? No, he shuffled it back, ignore me. I was going to say double Fez, that's a bit extreme, but no, he shuffled it back, ignore me. His hope now is that I don't have an energy, but I do. I have a spiky in hand, my boy. I think he's digging for a potential second red card. Gong, that's fine. 20... You're making Alakazam for that hand, mate. If I played Zerosic, you'd hate me, and yeah, he's going to concede. Maybe he was digging for Legacy, I'm not really sure, but yeah, that perfectly proves why in this matchup, you need to take the first prize card, and well, thanks to Fan Rotom, we was able to do that, and then we just kept up the pressure, so I'm pretty happy with how that went. Got a bit squeaky bum time towards the end, because obviously we were running low on birds, but hopefully we'll be able to find something to, you know, redeem that. Anywho, let's go to the next one. And welcome to our second game. That was a pretty good game there against the Toucannon Solrock Lunatone deck. Honestly, not really much to say there, you know. Like, we was able to take the first prize card thanks to our Fan Rotom and in the Area 0. And then we just kept up the pressure. And the fact that he put a Fez down was what was able to, you know, make our job even easier. In that matchup, you only want to put down, like, Fez and obviously Cornerstone if you know it's not going to get KO'd. But with how hard these birds hit, you've got to be so careful. And we start the Fan again. I'm more than happy to start Fan again, that's for sure. And we're going second, which means we could get a turn 1 swing, depending on what it is we're facing. And obviously we have Bangle in hand as well. Ooh, it's the Vikavolt archetype. And you're playing an Arceus for this? Okay, I mean, I respect the hustle. Attach Lightning. Poké Pad. Probably grab another Grubbin. Voice Crack. No, well, you're gonna hate if I can find a stadium then, buddy. That's for sure. Let's see what we can do. Poké Pad again. He needs to grab another Grubbin, because I'm probably... There's a good chance I take a KO here. Because obviously I'm gonna go bench Pikipek, play Dunsparce down, play the Poké Pad, attach Bangle. Because I don't need Bangle in this matchup, unless he plays like Fez or Zekrom or something. Because I would say, is it spoiler alert? Not really, but anyway. Okay, that's not too bad. So they didn't bench anything else. So what did he grab? An Iono's Watch Roll. Okay, well let's play the Poké Pad. We can do a quick prize check as well. We prized our Rellor, but I don't think that's going to matter, to be brutally honest. We've got a Dunsparce in hand. I'll just take another Pikipek. Let's have a look in the deck. We've got both Cornerstones, that's fine. We've got a Fez in there. We've got a Lillie in hand, so that's fine. Candies are all in there. What about energy? I prize the basic fighting. I'm not going to lose sleep over that, that's for sure. So I'll go Bangle to the Fan, because it doesn't matter, and we'll go for a Lillie. No Stadium, but that's completely fine. So we'll go Fan Call, just a thin further. I can grab Trumbeak. I'll grab Double Dun. And I will attach to the Fan and pass. You are very lucky, my friend. You are very lucky that PTCG Live is like, nope, you are not going to find your stadium today. And he's going to go for the parallel placement, which lets him put 3 Charger Bug on his bench. Now, is it the Pitch Black one, or is it the other one, which I think is Twilight? Or Stellar Crown? Yeah, Stellar Crown. So, yeah, there is another Vikavolt that has something going for it. But, yeah, it's an interesting one. And it's going to go for the parallel placement. Okay, that's completely fine. I think I know which Vikavolt this is then. I think this is the Stellar Crown one. If you don't know what it is, I'll tell you in a minute. It's basically, it does 80 damage for, or 80 more damage for each Charger Bug on your bench. So it's actually pretty busted in that regard. Do I want to Dun and try and like hit Rare Candy? I'm going to play Lillie. I think it's fine to play Lillie. So we got the Stadium. So let's go for a Runaway. Okay, there's a Candy. Excellent. We'll go Dun again. Okay, so we can bench 2 Duns. We can Candy Toucannon. Retreat the Fan into Toucannon. Spiky Energy to Toucannon. Do I want to play anything else down? Well, I'm going to draw a card for sure. Another Candy's nice. I can get another one established. Nice. This deck is so consistent. It's not even funny. This is crazy work. This deck, like, even if this deck played Quad Candy, like, sheesh. And then we'll Feather Rondo for the knockout. That is bonkers that this deck is so fast. Like, you know, the fact that you can do that, and there's our Fighting Energy out of the prize cards, this deck is just so fast, because we have such a thick draw line. We have the aerial draws of the Toucannon as well. You know, you just have so much consistency. It's wild. And yeah, he's just going to scoop it up. I'm not really sure what your plan was. But I think I know which Vikavolt you might have been playing. Which I have got a deck built for it for Terrible Tuesday is all I'll say. Well, I've started it, I've not finished it, but still. I'm pretty certain that Charger Bug is in that list, but I'll double check anyway. Less about the Terrible Tuesdays, let's go on to a Game 3. And welcome back to Game 3. That was a pretty successful game there against the Charger Bug army. Like I said, the fact that this deck just draws so many cards, sees so many, like, you know, tech stuff and all that jazz, you know, you got the Duns as well. This deck is just ridiculously fast, and that's kind of why I think this is one of the better versions that I've seen of Toucannon, because you just have so much consistency. You have the bench barrier of Rabsca if you need it. You know, you're just so fast, and it's surprisingly effective. And what we're starting, we start a Pikipek, or we can start a Cornerstone. I'll start Pikipek. I don't like starting a 2-prizer if I don't know what I'm facing, so... Well, in this archetype, I should say. So we're going to Dunsparce in the active, and I'm going to go for a Poké Pad, and grab a Fan. Didn't even bother to price check. Something tells me we might be facing another bird archetype. And yep, it's a bird archetype. Yeah, I mean, can you really be surprised? Everyone and their mother's playing this archetype. Alright, so let's grab Fan and Dunsparce. We have prize... Let's see. I've got a Dun in the prize cards, but that shouldn't be too much of a deal. I have got a Toucannon in the prize cards, so that's annoying. I've got a Dawn in the prize cards, which is okay. And we've prized our basic fighting, and we've also prized a leg. Well, we haven't prized a spiky, we prized a mist. I'm not too mad about that. So let's go for a fan call. We'll grab Dun, Pikipek, and Pikipek. So we'll do that. Bangle's probably not going to be relevant, but I might as well play it down. And I'll just pass. Not much else I can do. I think they might be playing the same archetype as us, but obviously we have the Cornerstone, so we do have an advantage in that regard. Because if need be, I will just start shuffling back the Duns, use my birds until I'm ready with Cornerstone, and just start swimming with Cornerstone. You know, they can't touch Cornerstone with Toucannon, so, you know, that's probably one thing that the Toucannon archetype is going to have to learn to play, is play around a Cornerstone. Because, yeah, you know, we only have Cornerstone for about another few, like, we have it for about another 6 months or so. He's going to go in with a spot. Yeah, we are facing a mirror match. Except he's playing Battle Cage. Candy Toucannon. Okay, then. That gives me a lot more information than what he might have thought. Because I can go with Cornerstone in this matchup. I'm happy with that. Because I can just put... So, yeah, this is 100% a mirror match. But I have Cornerstone. He probably doesn't. But he might have Terrapagos, so I need to be very careful. Poké Pad. For a Dun, that's fine. So like I said, I don't want to put Fez down. Because ideally, I shuffle away both these Duns, and I just power up Cornerstone. Because we have Legacy in deck, so that we can most definitely use. Down goes one of our birds. That's fine. I can promote a Dun. Okay, well, there's a spiky energy. Let's go for a Dawn. We'll grab Dun, the Dun, and Took. We had Legacy in there, right? Yes. Okay, that's fine then. So, let's see if you have an answer to this, my boy. We'll then run away draw. Okay, I kind of wish I hadn't attached the turn to Cornerstone now, but it's not a big deal. I'll evolve this. I'll candy this one. I'll then aerial draw. For a Lillie, that's pretty good to see. I'll play the Poffin down. Bump his Stadium. And pass. I don't think you'll have an answer. I'll be very surprised if you do. Dunsparce, that's fine. So like I say, all I'll do now is I'll just stop benching Pokemon, because I don't think you play an answer. From what I've seen, a lot of these Dunsparce Toucannon lists do not play an answer to Cornerstone. If he has a Cornerstone or a Terrapagos, that's going to get messy, but if we can get a Gust in, we should be fine. But obviously with Spiky Energy, we can make use of that. Because like I say, if he doesn't have an answer to Cornerstone, there's not a lot he can really do about it. Aerial draw. Like I said, I don't think you have an answer. You can take 3 more prize cards, assuming I, get rid of that Dunsparce on my bench. But if I'm just attacking with a Cornerstone, there's nothing you can do. You cannot answer a Cornerstone. And he's going to hit the Cornerstone, do no damage, which obviously doesn't trigger Spiky Energy. So, that feels pretty good then. We've worked him out. So I don't think he has an answer to Cornerstone. Okay, so we'll aerial draw. There's a Mist. Mist is very good here. Aerial draw again. So I'll attach Mist. Poké Pad for the Dun, because I need to dig. I still need to dig, remember. I still need to find that Legacy Energy. So then we'll run away draw. Okay. I can safely bench Dunsparces because he's probably not going to go for them. Realistically, anyway. He's probably going to target the birds. Do I want to be a douche and put down second Cornerstone? No, because I don't know if he has an answer. I would assume no. I would assume he does not have an answer to Cornerstone. I just need to now dig to my Legacy energy and go from there. He's got Gravity Mountain, interestingly. Unless he starts like going double stab or fly on Trumbeak, he's not in a good position. Okay, that's a good top deck. Because now we can go double the Dun and we can go runaway draw. Well, double aerial draw is what I mean. So let's see if we can find ourselves that Legacy energy. Okay, not yet. That's fine. Run away. Still not there yet. If I don't attack this turn, I'm not really bothered. It's just, you know, eventually I'm going to need to. So then we'll play the Lillie and shuffle the entire hand back in. Don't think I'm going to deck myself out, son. And there's Legacy. Excellent. So we have Legacy, and now we can demolish for 140. Take out the Fan Rotom. We are going to take 20. But you probably only play 3 Spikies. Which, if he has a Terrapagos, we will deal with it. So let's see what you can do, Chief, because I don't think you have a response to this. You know, Cornerstone's in the deck for a reason. That's why I picked it, you know? The original build played Terrapagos, and I like the idea of Terrapagos, but, you know, that's annoying. That, especially, is annoying, that freaking handheld fan. Okay, we're going to have to gust around that then, because that's going to be a problem. This tool card might have changed the game for them. Maybe that's for Alakazam. They're going to boss. They're going to take out my Toucannon. They're going to boss stamp. Okay, that's fine. That, however, is not. Because, like I said, they don't really want to move the Spikies off. But, Stamp is interesting. I wouldn't have thought of Stamp in that archetype. But sure. We'll bring up the Cornerstone. There's a boss, so that is pretty good. I can avoid the handheld fan until I can find my fighting energy out of the prize cards. I'll take out a Dun. I value taking out the Dun. We just need the fighting energy off the prize cards, and then we can deal with that. That's not a that is not what we want. Because we only play 2 ways to attack with Cornerstone. He's going to boss again. That's fine. Okay. Again, I'm not seeing an answer, you know? I'm not seeing a Cornerstone answer. Unless he has, like, Transformation Tome into a Terrapagos, I don't think I have anything to be worried about, to be brutally honest. You can play all these bosses all you like, I don't really care, because if you can't answer Cornerstone, I will just sit here. You know, I'm happy to sit here the whole game. He needs his Cornerstone answer, whatever it is, now. There's no sugarcoating it. You need it now. And you're already down 1 energy. There's 2 in play, so 3. You're probably playing 7 energy like the original build that I saw was. Whereas we're playing 8. So, well, technically 9, because 4 mist, 3 spiky, 1 fight, and 1 legacy. Something tells me, though, he doesn't have an answer. I don't think you have an answer. And because you put the Gravity Mountain down, you've actually hurt yourself. Something tells me my opponent does not have an answer. So, we'll soon see. Let's go for a Lillie. I'll go Mist to Cornerstone. And Demolish. Because if he moves the Legacy off, I don't really care. Because Fan Rotom won't take up a prize card. But I'm hoping to find my fighting energy out of the prize cards, because otherwise we're just going to have to wait till he decks out. If he moves Legacy, I don't really care. He'd probably move the Spiky, realistically. But if I get my fighting out of the prize cards, we might be okay. So let's find out. But it's a question of, does he go for that line? Because like I said, I can sit here, you know, I'm more than happy to. I don't think he has an answer. The handheld fan is annoying though, because obviously I can't recycle my my legacy. But something tells me he's actually rage quit, because he's realised what is going on here. So I've got to hope by default it doesn't move my legacy off, because he's not doing any actions. I suspect he's left the game. Which is good for me, which proves why Cornerstone is in this list for a reason. It was Toucannon. And yeah, it's moved to Spiky. That would 100% not have been him doing that. So let's see if we'd have got enough fighting off the prize cards, which we would have, so we'd have been fine. We would have been fine. I think that's going to be game, because our opponent has left the building. Cornerstone must Ogerpon for the win against Toucannon, because they have no answer. I know for a fact they don't. This is why you gotta respect the Cornerstone. I'm even arguing playing second fighting in here, just so we have more options into Cornerstone. I'm well happy with that. But since my opponent has left the building, I'll see you in the next one. And yep, there we go. Our opponent has left the building. That proves exactly why Cornerstone can sometimes be an MVP in these Toucannon mirrors. Because like I say, a lot of the time, they don't have an answer to him. So, you know, Cornerstone is MVP clearly. Let's go to a game 4. And welcome back to game 4. That was a really successful game there against the Toucannon mirror. Yes, he obviously got to take out our birds, but, well, I don't care, because you did not have a Cornerstone answer. So, I'm happy with that. But that just proves, like, you know, if you have, you know, the deck building knowledge like I do, like, I know for a fact most Toucannon variants are not playing an answer to Cornerstone. Some of them are playing Cornerstone, and that's their answer, but some variants are just not playing it at all. Like, genuinely at all. But that's good for us. Okay. Not a great start. Like, the Fan Rotom is a decent starter, but, I'm not sure how to feel. And a Chi-Yu. I smell Toxbox. So let's go for you, you, and you. Let's have a look in the deck. Got all the Toucs in there, so that's good. We've got a Rellor in hand, but we're probably not going to need that. We've got a Boss in hand. We've got a Dawn in the prize cards. Otherwise, we've got one Spiky and Legacy in the prize cards. I'm not too mad about that. I'm not going to put the stadium down because I don't see a value in doing so. Because then that activates Whirling Envy for 1 energy. So I'd rather not. If he wants to like go Petch into Toxel and then leave Toxel in the active, I will use Fan Rotom to take it out. But otherwise, I don't really care. He can attack with, you know, Whirling Envy for 20 if he wants. I'm just not going to fall for that trick. I'm just not going to attack the Chi-Yu until I'm ready to knock it out. And yeah, he's just going to go for a Whirling Envy. The only thing he'll be envying is this next turn, because hopefully we'll be able to do stuff. So let's go for Dunsparce, Toucannon, and we will grab, because he's probably got a Cornerstone answer. I'll just grab another Pikipek. So we'll go Dun. Runaway draw if the game wants to let me click on it. There's some more Toucannons. Excellent. So let's go and grab those Trumbeaks. Well, a Trumbeak, I should say. So we'll grab one, and then we'll grab a Dunsparce. Or a Dudunsparce, I should say. So there's that one. We'll then Runaway draw. Okay, Fighting Energy is good here. I can attach to Fan. Bench another Pikipek. I'm going to need to put a stadium down eventually, but I don't need to now. Because I can boss the Toxel, and even if it becomes a Toxtricity, I can trap it, at least until he finds a Petch. And if he puts down a Petch, I can then take 2 prize cards. There's a Hilda. So he can get himself a Tox, that's fine. Like I said, the 20 damage on the Fan Rotom doesn't really bother me. The fact that we can get a Chi-Yu swing, or a swing into Chi-Yu next turn, is already good enough for me. If he benches a 2-prizer, I will target it. Because we have Night Stretcher for the fighting energy. We can go straight into the Toucannon, boss it, and hopefully go from there. But obviously he doesn't have much of a board state, but to be fair, neither do we. But I'm hoping, maybe, we might be able to draw into something good. He's going to attach to the Toxtricity and Whirling Envy. Something tells me you're bricking, which is a good thing for me. There's another boss. Brilliant. Alright, well let's go for the aerial draw. There's Cornerstone. I do like to see Cornerstone, that's for sure. I don't need to attack with Toucannon now, but it would be better if I did, because then I'm taking out his engine. So yeah, I'm going to retreat the Fan into the Toucannon, Night Stretcher back the Fighting Energy. Attach. I'll boss the Tox, because the Tox is the more immediate threat, and we're doing 160, so perfect. This bird is overpowered, man. Like, this card is way too strong for a single energy. There's our Spiky at the prize cards. But no, I generally think this deck should be playing 2 fighting just to lean into the Cornerstone. He's got a Lana's Aid back the Tox. Sure. I will just boss it, but sure. Whatever keeps you up at night, my friend. Like I said, I can deal with this whenever I want, because of the effect of the attack, I'm not hitting it with Fan, so, you know, I'm not really bothered at this point. You can do what you like. If you want to hit for 20, feel free. I'm bossing this, because that's your engine. He can retreat into it, which he's not going to do. So again, I'll just boss it. I'm fine to boss it, you know? Alright, so let's go for an aerial draw. Candy's good. We do like the candy. So we'll get that evolved. We'll aerial draw again. There's another Toucannon. I'll set up Spiky on the other one. And boss the Tox. Then Feather Rondo, take it out. I'm not scared of your Chi-Yu. This is why I'm playing around it. Like, yeah, it can do some decent damage. But, you know, I just got my Trumbeak at the prize cards. I'm not scared of this. I didn't play into that. If I don't have to play into it, I'm not going to play into it, you know? Because now all we do is just go Trumbeak for turn, Lillie, and he's just going to give up. He's had enough. I don't blame you, mate. So we'll go Feather Rondo, knock him out. Not going to waste his time. I'll take that. Not a bad run with the bird, that's for sure. Doesn't matter which prize card we take, because our opponent's done for. And well, there's Legacy. It would have been our second to last prize card. But yeah, that was pretty nasty. Obviously, we was able to shut off his engine there. He should have gone for Call for Family, to be brutally honest. But, you know, that's my opponent's decision, you know. Maybe they just didn't think that through. And didn't think that was a good line or something. I'm not sure, but... Still, that's why we didn't fight into, or we didn't hit into the Chi-Yu, because we don't want it doing 110. We want it to keep it capped at 20. So that's why we did the play that we did there. So, what did I think to this deck? This deck is rapid. Like, you know, with the change to the Cornerstones, I think this deck has a lot more lines than you might think. So I will say, Legacy Energy, even though we didn't get to really use it outside of attacking with Cornerstone, is probably the better A-spec for this deck, in my opinion. Obviously, we have Bangles in here to obviously help with, you know, further damage output, and obviously we play the Area Zeros anyway. But genuinely, I think we need a second copy of Fighting Energy in here. Like, we have the Legacy, which does act as a Fighting Energy, as we saw. But, you know, having not only basic energy to recover, but also just having extra options in matchups is also really key. Because as we saw with the, you know, the mirror match that we faced for the Toucannon and Dudunsparce deck, they did not have an answer, and they got, you know, they were bossing, taking prize cards, you know, things like that, but the important thing was that they were not taking out the Cornerstone, and that's mainly what it was, you know. The Cornerstone is just so effective at, you know, walling Pokemon off, even with the Toucannons, because the Toucannons can't answer it, you know. We don't have Canceling Cologne in the format. It's been quite a long time since that was in the format. But, you know, like, we have so many options. We have attackers up the wazoo. We have, you know, double Fan for early pressure. We've got double Cornerstone. And we've got 4/2/4 Land of the Birds. So, you know, I think this archetype could get away with playing a second Fighting Energy. It's not a bad idea, because it is a basic energy. You can recover it. You can't recover special. You know, I think there's a lot more to this archetype with this Dodun version. I think this is one of the better versions I've played so far in testing. But anyway, we'll leave it all to it for today. We really hope you enjoyed seeing Toucannon with the Dudunsparce package. And of course, the Cornerstones making an appearance once again. And I'll see you on the next one.